Hello, VC, the Waxed here, and this is my Vegas or bust haul. Vegas or bust. So I came to Vegas to hang out with some family for Thanksgiving, and from the drive I drove here from where I live in Los Angeles. I stopped in I guess it's the Inland Empire area of outside of Los Angeles, kind of around the areas are Montclair, Claremont, Upland, and there's some good record stores out there. A couple I have never been to. The main one is the Glass House, and I think the Glass House is kind of famous because Alex, who runs Record Safari, works there, and the operation's kind of similar. So they show their stuff on Instagram. And before I left, I saw an album that I've been wanting, and they had it there. And I was hoping it was there when I got there, and it was. So let's start off. I picked up some. I didn't go crazy. First thing I picked up was this demo twofer of Jackie Bayard, Giant Steps. This is, I have a copy of this. I just picked up another one. Maybe I'll offload mine. But this is a great way. These twofers are a great way to get really good sounding records. Most likely they're analog. These albums, this particular one, are two separate albums. Sometimes one of the albums are comps. So the first one is Here's Jackie from New Jazz. And the second one is Out Front from Prestige. So, and sometimes if they're earlier enough, these green label or yellow label from these twofers have Rudy and Van Gelder and the Dead Wax. I don't believe this is one of them, but nevertheless, it's a great sound. These are great sounding albums and a great way to get into any artist you choose, and great sounding, and especially people don't talk enough about Jackie, so highly recommend getting this. Okay. Next, what did I get? And I'll show you the one I wanted last. I picked up the soundtrack to Meet the Ruddles. It was cheap. And, it's, if you don't know, I think it was a 1976 TV movie produced by Lorne Michaels and Eric Idle, like a mockumentary on a band that is based on the Beatles. This was put out by Warner Brothers, at least in the U.S. So here's the inside of the gatefold. There they are. So it's mainly Neil Innes and Eric Idle, and I know someone told me his name's got to be on the back of here, but he was partly in the Beach Boys for a little bit, whatever his name is. Someone will say in the comments. I can be old and feeble-minded. Next I picked up was a CTI of Paul Desmond, Pure Desmond, with Ron Carter, Connie Kay, and Ed Bickert. Great CTI. This is here's what's cool. And I already have this, but this is going to replace it because it's a white label promo. Gorgeous. And this has Rudy and the Dead Wax, Rudy Van Gelder. And this is a very nice copy. So I'm going to get rid of my copy I have and put this in the collection. Okay. And here's the album I wanted. J.R. Montrose. Blue Note. This is a 1972 United Artists pressing. And here's where I'm confused, and someone might help me in the comments. I've picked up some other later Blue Notes that are on the Blue Note label. This says United Artist on it. Can you see it? Yeah. And but it doesn't have Rudy and the Dead Wax, his name. But I know sometimes some are the same plates or pressing or whatever, but for some reason they don't have Rudy and the Dead Wax. So can someone explain that to me? I don't know. I've looked on Discogs and people. This is a mono. People say this sounds great. So there's the post-it that they had on there. But who's on here with him? You can see on the front. Or Silver, Wilbur Ware, Philly Joe Jones. There you go. And I've been looking for this. I know you can get, I think a Music 45 is still available. on this. But I hope that they might come out as a classic, a Blue Note classic. So, but at least I have an early, 72 when it come out in the early 60s. So happy to get that. Okay, where was my next stop? My next stop was Rhino Records. So Rhino Records has moved from the location that was out there in Claremont to Montclair, going off camera. That was my bigger haul. So I picked up the Bill Evans album, an OG Columbia pressing. I do have a rough copy of this. This is in much better condition on the 360 label. I think what's unique about this is that Bill's playing both a Steinway, but all a Fender Rhodes electric piano, which he didn't play that much. And Eddie Gomez and Marty Morell are on here as the trio. But that's what's unique about this, is that he's playing electric piano. So good album to find if you find a good copy of it. The OG. And actually, this is $10. For this album does not go for that much. I think there might be a Speaker's Corner of this, or Pure Pleasure. But these OGs don't go for that much for some reason. Maybe people don't like him playing the electric piano. All right, next I picked up something I needed, which was this Jerry Mulligan, Chet Baker at Carnegie Hall concert from, might be the mid-70s. It came out in, I think there's several ways to get this. The first batch came out in 2 volumes. The black one, volume 1. I have volume 2, which is the yellow, same cover but in yellow. And I think there are more. I think a more recent issue. Ooh. I don't know. Someone wrote something in here. I don't know who that is. Marty Hurd. There's no Marty Hurd on this record. So maybe it was just the guy who owned this. All right. But I think more recent ones had it come with both. But I wanted this, and it is on CTI. There you go. Let's see if we got lucky with I don't have the light so hot in here that I can see that if it's a Van Gelder. I'm guessing. I'm going to say it is, because this is original of this. Okay, good. There you go. All right. Next, I found the Kronos Quartet does Monk with Ron Carter, and also who else? Chuck Israels and Eddie Marshall are on here. This was mastered by George Hearn, but it's digital. Not that it would matter. I do have a copy of them doing Bill Evans. There's the Kronos Quartet. They're classical, but they're doing Monk. So it should be interesting. All right. There's I consider her part of the VC, Nicole. She always tells me, she's sung praises of this guy, T.T. Montalou. And I've been picking up his albums, and this particular one is on Timeless, which Music on Vinyl's issuing a lot of, I think it's, 40th anniversary for them. But I don't really have a lot of George Coleman, saxophone player. So for $7, it was a no-brainer, I think, just to get into it. So these Timeless are kind of no-frillsy. There's a label, yeah. I don't know if it's, I think Dutch. I think it's a Dutch label. But nice to pick up on that. He's a pianist, if I didn't say that. And here's another one. With Niels Henning Orsted Peterson, great bass player, and Albert Heath on drums. This is an Inner City issued, and I don't know where, if it's licensed from Steeplechase. So Inner City American label licensed a lot of Steeplechase titles. Now, if anyone knows, I'm curious that they use the same plates to make these pressings. I'm very happy. I'm seeing consistently the Inner City, usually they're brown labels. The pressings are really good. They're great sounding most of the time. I know there's a Japanese label, East West, that Inner City did a lot of, and Steeplechase, and they did their own. But consistently, they sound great, and they're kind of very affordable for the most part, unless there's some outrageous, title that a lot of people want. All right, next I went to I think they do have 2 stores here in Vegas, Record City. So there were a very nice manager, or the guy who runs one of them, was very nice. Allowed me to go digging through boxes and stuff. I wish I could have bought more, but he gave me a great deal on 3 records I bought. Now don't laugh at this one, but the soundtrack of Secret of My Success. It's a great movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. But this is, David Foster, he's a producer and writer, has done over the last, 40 years, produced everyone, has written a lot of hits, Earth, Wind, and Fire, but he has a very distinct sound. If you knew, like, his work with Chicago and Peter Cetera, and he scored this. There's a song by Pat Benatar's on here, Night Ranger, Bananarama, but I really liked his scoring of this album. Go look up on YouTube, I think the one Gazebo, and you'll know what I mean. It's very David Foster. Okay, I'm not defending myself. I like this. Then I found, a Pablo. The cover's in rough shape, but the record's beautiful. Of this Jousts, Oscar Peterson, the Trumpet Kings. So you got Dizzy, Joe Faddis, Clark Terry, Harry Edison, and Roy Eldridge was on here. So I know that Trumpet Summit is a great sounding record. So I just made the assumption. And again, these Pablos are not going for much. Go get them. And then a record, I know the Jazz Bums have sung the praises of this one, but Jimmy Smith, The Cat. So I got a Verve original cover. I normally do not like the Jimmy Smith Verve records. They're too overproduced and kind of cheesy. But this one people seem to like a lot, and it's got a crazy lineup on here. It's conducted and arranged by Lalo Safran, who did a lot of movie scores. But you got Thad Jones on here, and Irby Green, and Kenny Burrell, and George Denver, Grady Tate, a lot of people. It's a very strong horn section on this. I streamed it in the car while I was driving around today, and it's good. I like it. It's not cheesy like the Jimmy Smith Verve records. Now the Jimmy Smith Blue Note records I love. I have a lot of them. But mostly the Verves are very cheesy. Okay. Next, my favorite record store here is Moondog. And their prices, I think, are fair. They're what they should be going for. And I scored the best record, I think, of this Vegas or Bust trip. First, I'll show you 2. Duke's, and I got the prices on here. So this was very affordable, 20% off at Moondog. This is sealed. I already have the record. I found a copy, but you know me, I cannot pass up a sealed record, and I'll open it and I'll unload my other Duke Big 4. The reason I got this is Chad from Acoustic Analog Productions, Acoustic Sounds, did a video where he was going over all these Pablos that are great sounding, and this is killer. So on here is Duke Ellington, Joe Pass, Ray Brown, and Louis Bellson. And if you find this, get it. It is an awesome sounding record. It is great to hear Duke Ellington dialed down and not with a big band behind him. This was a no-brainer to pick up. And then another label that's really good to pick up if you see any, Xanadu titles. There's a lot of reissues that Xanadu did of old albums, but this, I think they produced this one, and this is sealed. And it's silver blue with Al Cohen, Dexter Gordon, Barry Harris, Louis Hayes, Sam Jones, Blue Mitchell, and Sam Noto. I don't know Sam Noto. But the Jazz Bums sing the praises of this record. Got it sealed for, again, 20% off 15. And it was a no-brainer to pick this up. Okay. Next is the record of the day. I have a couple records to show after. But the record of the day was one I've been looking for. This is Jackie McLean, Jackknife. It's part of these the Blue Note reissue series from the mid-'70s. And they're typically titles that were shelved and never released. I know Jackknife was released separately after this, maybe in the 80s. And I know there's a Japanese pressing of it, and it's expensive. The second record on here is got Lee Morgan on it. But I streamed Jackknife, and it is killer. It's insane that it's not out. It didn't come out. Music Matters didn't release it. But there's a lot of these Jackie McLean shelved albums that deserve to be tone poets or whatever. Deserve a reissue. The one is Jackie McLean, Larry Willis, Don Moore, and it says Jackie DeChanette. Jackie DeChanette on drums? Did he go by Jackie? Well, I don't know. Tell me, people. The other album has Lee Morgan, Charles Tulliver, Larry Willis, Larry Ridley, and Jack DeChanette. So he went by Jackie and then Jack. He grew up. These are on the Blue label, these reissue series. There you go, with the white. And I don't think Rudy Van Gelder was involved with these. But again, I don't think these are hit and miss. They generally sound really good. And they're the way to get, I think now, again, Jackknife. Here's another thing. I know I have there's another one with the same, there's another Jackie McLean Blue Note reissue series with this same cover. They couldn't pick another picture of Jackie McLean. What did I show you the inside of this? There you go. Could have used that as the cover. I actually think that is the cover for one of the reissues of this. So, all right, really cool. So now I went to an estate sale here in Vegas. I found one today. And I was recognized there. I came out the door after I went inside, and the guy goes, "You're the Waxed. What are you doing here in Vegas?" If you see me on Rachel's Ghost live stream, I went live with the gentleman, Mark, I believe his name was. He was really nice. There were a ton of records in this estate sale, but they were mostly not in great shape, and they were selling for $8 a piece. But it did pick up too. So I picked up a reissue. I think it's a 1978 reissue of Elvis Presley's first album. Different cover. It's not him, fully shaking his hips. It is on, there you go, that RCA Victor. It's in stereo, and this is beautiful looking. Well, maybe. I think it is. We'll listen to it and see how it sounds. And then there was a weird record. I love the weird records. Here's the weird record. This is, Yes, This Was Me. So a girl who was Miss Nude USA, Miss Nude Universe. And I guess she turned to the Lord. So this is her repentance, I guess, or how she found faith. And Homer G. Lindsay Jr. helped her do it. Look at that guy. If you're ever going to turn to the Lord, you need that guy to help you. So, I don't know if anyone knows about this record. There's the label. I guess her name was Suzanne Haynes when she was a nudie. But when she found herself, she went to the more register, Suzanne Register. So, You know, when you see a record like this, you go, someone needs to have this. It can't fall into the wrong hands. All right, peoples. That's my Vegas or bust haul. Tell me what you think. Do you own any of these records? Did any of them impress you? They impressed me. And if you're not subscribed, do that. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you know when I post a video. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.